So, yeah, it's like, yeah, I'm definitely hitting mid-50s. Good.
Good.
It's great.
Can't remember Jack.
Be asking the kids soon, how do I get this podcast started?
Jeez.
Well, everyone, and welcome to Basic AF. I'm Tom Anderson, joined as always by my co-host, good friend, Jeff Battersby. Hello, Jeff.
Tom Anderson. How are you?
How are you? You're doing good. How are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm doing really well. I'm in the weeds, man. We'll confess here straight up. We already recorded one episode of this podcast, but you won't hear it until the next episode. And I'm very pleased to say that we were able to get our good friend Celsius 7 from Psychokinetics to spend some time recording with us. So mark your calendars. 2 weeks from this episode, you'll get an opportunity to do that. Listen to Celsius 7 talk about his work, his music, and fun times. It was a good time. So
it was, yeah, definitely check that one. It's going to be a different show, but
what?
In a lot of ways, but it was fun. And of course, Psychokinetics we used for the show open and close, and so we've been trying to do this show with him for 12 to 18 months or so.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, so we were happy to be able to do that one. This is episode 66. Show notes can be found at basicafshow.com/66. And so we are going to talk the iPadOS 26 beta a little bit. We expect the public betas from Apple for all of the new operating systems to release probably sometime this week as this show drops. So we're recording on July 18th. This show will hit on the 21st. So we expect the public betas this week. Before we do that, I went to the doctor today, Jeff,
and
for a wellness check.
And are you well?
I'm well.
I know you're not, but that's a totally different
It's a different type of wellness.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gave me a good, clean bill of health, said everything's phenomenal. But
okay, good. But
I told you a few weeks ago, I think it was, that I had done something to my knee.
Yes.
Did I tell you that? I think I told you.
Yes, no, you did.
Okay. Because I was talking to our friends Gannon and Joe Moyer about it too, guests of the show. So I was talking to them about it.
Wait, you talked to those guys without me?
I do.
I'm hurt.
No, you're not. Not at all. And so anyway, I was getting up off the floor in the garage. I was working out, and like my right knee clicked, like kind of clunked, and I was like, "Holy crap, that hurt!" And I got up, and I kind of, walked it off, as they say, which is a little different now than it was when I was 12. And
welcome to football practice. Come on, you wuss, walk it off.
That's what I was hearing in my head, yeah. And so anyhow, I did that, and it's been sore though, on and off since. And so, probably 3 weeks ago, I did what all of us do these days. I ran it through ChatGPT.
Yeah, great.
And I was just curious. And so, because I've seen stories like people on Reddit saying, "Oh, I had this condition, couldn't find what it was, ran it through ChatGPT, took the results, showed my doctor, they did some more tests, and hey, it was." I was like, "Oh, that's kind of interesting." And so I gave it in the prompt, some of the symptoms I had, what I was doing when it happened, so forth and so on. So came back and it was like, "Oh, it sounds like a meniscus injury." And I think he replied, "Well, I could have told you that." So I was like, "Yeah, thanks, Jeff." Real joy.
Yeah.
So, and
did
so I thought,
say that.
You did.
Dr. Battersby here to, can I check your prostate?
No. No. So I knew I had a doctor appointment coming up, so I didn't schedule anything just for that. And so I met with him today. And he's been my doctor now for, I don't know, 13, 14 years probably. Super great guy, great sense of humor. We banter back and forth. We should probably get him on the podcast at some point.
That'd be
and
fun.
He's kind of tech forward guy, walks around with his MacBook in his office. He's had a MacBook since I've been going in there, MacBook Air. I think he's on a Pro now. So I walk in and he's like, "I've got a favor to ask." I'm like, "Oh, what's that?" He goes, "I've got this new tool I'm testing, but I need your permission before I can do it. I've got this AI tool. And so it's going to record what we talk about, and it's going to give me summaries and all this kind of stuff." And he's like, "I'm trying to figure if it's good or not. I was like, yeah, sure. I don't care. We can test it. So we're going.
You've already sold your soul to the AIs anyway. So
right. At this point, what's another? So, we go through the discussions and everything. Yeah, your blood work's great. This is great. Everything's great. He goes, anything else you want to talk about? And I was like, well, I kind of have a jacked up knee. And so I tell him basically the same thing I put into the prompt. And he's like, yeah, how long has that been bothering you? So forth and so on. He goes, yeah, it sounds like a meniscus injury. I'm like, hey, that's what ChatGPT said.
That's what Jeff Battersby said.
Dr. Battersby said that too. And he's like, who's that? And I was like, yeah, it's private doctor. So but he started laughing when I said that. And he goes, it's funny. He goes, it's a great resource. It really is. It's not always right, but sometimes it'll just, bring up something that you wouldn't have thought about or whatever. And so that's my little story from the doctor today. Great.
So the part about amputation that ChatGPT gave you was not correct?
No. Okay. And it didn't really give me that, but no. So anyway, I got to go see a
recommended a vasectomy. There we go.
In a couple of weeks. couple of weeks I'll go to the specialist, not for that, but for the knee. And he'll probably want to do some x-rays, but he's like, he did some tests there. He's like, I don't think it's too bad. It's probably just something you'll just have to let heal and take it easy for a little while. So,
all right, good.
Yeah. So I just thought that was interesting. Like I say, I see these stories on different places, threads and Reddit, and people saying, hey, I ran it through and so forth. I know they've got different models that are trained specifically for medical stuff too. Yeah. But, so anyhow.
And I will tell you that I appreciate that your doctor said that they're not always right, but they are accurate all the time. I would not want to be going into my GP or surgeon or anybody else and have them go, yeah, I ran this through ChatGPT and this is what we're going to do. It's like...
that would be Dr. Battersby's office.
No, because I wouldn't use ChatGPT. I would
Claude.
use my years of personal experience.
Oh, as a doctor, yes.
Not as a doctor, as someone who pays attention to medical science, which is about what ChatGPT is.
Okay, anyway. Fair enough.
We both got the same degrees. GPT and I, the same years of experience. Anyway, no, I appreciate that. And I do appreciate that he didn't just go, yep, I'm going to do this. That makes me happy.
Yeah, if he did that, I'd have been like, but
good for you, Tom.
Yeah. I think a little bit. So we've got developer betas. We mentioned we're going to talk about the betas. So the public betas are probably coming soon, and we'll get into that in a minute. But you've been running the developer beta of iPadOS 26. And once again, I'm so glad they went with 26 across the board because it's so much easier to remember than
it really is.
18, 12, 11. So iPadOS 26. How's that been?
Yeah, so let me just precurse this by saying that I checked in with our good friend Riley Hill before I did this, who from the jump was on the first beta, the very first developer beta. He is
benefit of having two iPad Pros, by the way.
Correct, right. So he did that. When the second beta came out, and he had been working with it for about a week or so, I asked him about it. My iPad, not critical to me, if you will. In other words, I don't do anything that's significant or that I can't do on my Mac, which is where I do most of the work that I do. So I felt safe doing it, but I wanted to check with him and see what he thought, what his feelings were about it. And his warning was, battery life is going to suck, which it does. But overall, I'm finding it to be quite nice. I hopped on the train where they now are referring to liquid glass as frosted glass. And I would say it's something a little better than that. Actually, I'm looking at it now and looking at a folder that I have on my home screen. And if you put your mouse over that, which it has a pointy mouse, Tom.
It does, man.
It really does.
I'm so happy about that.
I know you are. There's a whole thing that I.
And it gets big when you shake it.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, just like on the Mac. You lose your mouse, you shake it, and it gets big.
I'm sorry. I thought we were doing a completely different show for a second. Holy cow. I'm blushing, Tom. Yeah. All right. I'm going to shake it. And yeah, it does get big. That's great.
Nice.
My God. That's what we get for recording with Celsius 7 before we do our own show.
Kind of set a tone for the whole night.
We're off the rails. Anyway, if you look at it, to me, what it looks like now, more than frosted glasses, have you ever seen one of those plastic magnifying, I don't know what you call it, magnifying pads that people they have concentric circles around it? This gives off that feel without the concentric circles, but it feels to me like that. So it's kind of clearer and deeper, kind of like a magnifying glass on what's behind it. Really kind of beautiful in the way that it works. I really do like the way, the look and feel of this. What's funny about that is that look and feel very much, one of those aesthetic things, at least for me, that I feel more than actually have access to the practicality of it, if that makes any sense. So for me, the way that this new OS for the iPad feels is significantly better than any of the other versions. I'm still getting used to the new windowing, which is interesting to say the least. You can, as has been said, I'm not telling any new news. You can resize the windows, put them anywhere you want to, which I love. You're not stuck with a fixed location that you have to put it, which is delightful. That really is a nice feature. But some of the way the windows disappear off screen, this could be a beta issue, or it could be a Jeff issue, probably the latter more than the former. If you bring up another app, the things swing off to the side, and I've not quite gotten the swing of that, but I really do like the way that this feels and how it works. There's something delightful about it. That's what I will say in iPadOS. As far as this beta is concerned, for anybody considering doing the public betas in the next, I presume it'll be this week that we'll see a public beta on this. Maybe not, but that's my presumption. It's safe to me. I wouldn't install them on anything that's mission critical. But as far as the iPad is concerned, I see no reason not to make that jump. Haven't had really any crashes or freezes. I think I once had a restart, like the whole thing kind of rebooted and came back up, but nothing lost when I did that. Still like trying to figure out how things work. There are some differences about the way that this works. But I love, like, for example, I just double-clicked in the Files app. I just double-clicked something that I had been editing in Photomator, which is Apple's new program that they bought. It's been a year ago, I think. But you open it, and it actually recognizes the application now when you open it, which is really kind of sweet. You would usually get files that were opened in, or it would ask you what you want to open it in, or how you wanted to open a particular file. And this opened for me, just opened up the Photomator app. I said Photomator. That's not what it's called.
Pixelmator. No, that's the Mac app.
Yeah, it's got.
I can't remember. I don't have it in front of me.
It's Photomator. It was right.
There you go. You were right.
It was Photomator. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I didn't think I was, but I was. Anyway, it opens that app up, which is really sweet. The icons are a lot softer looking to me. They're not as harsh. I have not gone grayscale on this, which is what I've done on my phone. I've got that set up with icons that are not colored at all.
Right. Have you messed with the clear icons? Because right there, the grayscale. Remember they added like that, the clear.
I haven't played with.
I guess
that
now
yet,
frosted glass, but
yeah, that folder that I'm talking about. It has that frosted glass look. That's
okay.
So the folder that I'm looking at definitely has
got
that.
it.
But I haven't done it all the way around. Haven't played with that particular feature yet. I am using or playing with Preview, and man, I like that. I was
going to ask you about that. Yeah, I'm glad that's there. And have you pushed that very much? Like, or have you noticed what's different between preview on iPad versus Mac? Have you noticed anything yet?
The look and feel is a little different. It doesn't support dark mode presently, but you get some detail information. So I've got a PDF for a short story I'm working on pulled up, and it's got all the details on that. It tells you, all the information about how it was created, what application I used to create the PDF file. So it's got all that kind of detail information. The editing tools work really they're invisible, which I kind of like with the way that it worked on the previous version of the iPad. The tools would always pop up as soon as you brought out the Apple Pencil, and then you had to kind of put them out of the way. This does not, as far as I can see, does not do that. I bring something up, and if I tap it, it's letting me highlight text. If I tap the tool, it'll bring up what it is that I'm, all the editing tools that I have, so I can highlight certain things if I want to, and play with it. So that all kind of looks and feels the same. It's not all that different than the previous version was. It looks and feels like it does when you're working on the Mac. It's slightly different layout as far as the tools are concerned at the top. It's interesting. When we had Riley on, he talked about this a little bit. The close buttons are a little funky. They're different than what we're used to. If you want to close a document or close an app, I'm not just talking about preview in this particular case, but in general. But there's also now the file menu that's available, and that to me is kind of nice feature. I didn't think I'd like it as much as I actually like it.
Right,
but
so that's the menu bar at the top.
Right, yeah.
Right.
So that's
out of the way. It's not there all the time like on the Mac.
No. It's when you move up to the top of the screen on something that you might be editing, it shows up there. So it's useful in that way. It shows up when it needs to. The close, resize windows are a little interesting in the way that they work as far as I'm concerned. They're minimized when you first see them, and then you tap in that area and they enlarge, and then you have to tap to perform whatever task you're going to do. So it's not the same as the single click that you have, at least presently. It's not the same as that. You have to bring them up to full size, and then you tap the X or the full screen button to make it full sized or smaller. So it's a little different in that way, which is it's an extra step. It's an extra step from what you're used to using on the Mac. It's a new step as far as the iPad is concerned. So it's pretty nice. The breakout, I know a lot of people talked about this initially, but of the games app, I love. Great feature. Instead of having to go to the App Store, open the arcade, and then open the game, or go to your downloaded folder, you pop that little games app up, and it'll have all the games that you have there. Anything that you've worked on recently, it'll show up at the top, and it's all Apple games, and anything that's available on the App Store, but anything also that's in Apple Arcade.
And to clarify, that's not a folder. It's like
it is a full app.
It's an
Correct.
app, right?
Standalone app.
And so when you bring it up, it shows the games that you have installed and the other bits of information, I'm guessing.
Yep,
right? Because
absolutely.
I think they mentioned something like play with friends and that kind of stuff.
Correct.
If I recall. Okay.
The phone app, pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That's new.
I could call you and we could see what happens. See if
probably
it lets
nothing
me do it
because I'm on D&D. So
Don't bug me. Don't bug me. All right, fair. That's fair. But it does. The phone app comes up. You've got the ability to to do whatever it is that you want to do with it. So I can make that call. It shows me the information. It shows me the last time I called you. We talked for a long time, Tom, on December 21st, 2023. Were you wishing me a Merry Christmas?
December 21st, 2023. Huh.
We don't.
That was about.
We don't call each other. We might have been actually recording a show or something like that and using FaceTime to do it. That's possible.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know.
You and I don't talk much by phone, but you did call me once in September of 2023, and I called you a few times in 2023 was a year for us of phone calls, Tom. It's really sweet. I'm looking. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know why we did that.
But anyway,
we use these for talk sessions. So
yeah, right. Yeah.
So have you found anything you don't like yet of the like any changes? You're kind of like, I don't know about that, or so far so good.
Yet there's nothing here that I don't like, honestly, so far. Okay. It feels great. It looks great. Even the betas seem to be running great. I've used Pages a fair amount on this for theater stuff that I'm doing, and that works. That works really well. It has I don't know. It just has a nice look and feel to it so far. So I'm really happy with it. There was something about music that I noticed that I thought I liked. Auto mix is on. I can DJ. That's not going to be a thing I'm doing, DJing. But Celsius 7 might, although he's no DJ either. He's an MC, 100%. But it's, I don't know. It's so far, the way that I've played with it, here's what I'm talking about. You can't see it, but there is a off screen. There it is. I had to click it. It's almost, you know, the new feature that's available in macOS where you click the desktop and everything disappears. Mm-hmm. That feature, and I don't know if that's a thing that's supposed to be in here, that is actually available in this. Okay. So if you tap the home screen, all your open windows blast off to various sides of the screen.
Take a look at your widgets if you wanted to that way, right?
Yes. Yep. That's one thing I haven't done. I haven't added any widgets to this thus far. I should probably, other than the ones that were pre-existing on this before. Kind of tempted just to wipe this and go forward and see what it does. But it's clean.
Nice,
really, really nice setup. So that's me with my brief stint using the iOS 26. The iPadOS 26 beta.
Okay, and you mentioned at the top of that, Apple's dialed back some of the liquid glass stuff to almost like a frosted glass, and they got blasted when liquid glass came out because there are some screens people say, legibility is very poor and so forth, so they've dialed it back, and then so they got blasted a little bit for that too because it's like, well, I liked it the other way. And it's like, I don't envy them at all for that, but I will be curious to see where they land on it. I think they're trying to find the right spot because, it's going on a lot of iPhones. And so I'm sure they want to make sure that it's as good as they can get it to be for as many people as possible. And I'm looking forward to trying that. I didn't do the developer beta. I'm waiting for the public beta. So maybe this week I'll get that, which would be nice. Very much looking forward to playing with that.
Yeah, it's fun. I look forward to hearing what you have to say when you do download a beta. And what are you going to download it on first? I think you said maybe your Vision Pro and another Mac, or are you do you have an iPad to fool around with?
Yeah, so we've changed up our workflow a little bit for the podcast, as you know. I was editing strictly in Fairlight on the iPad, so I would take our files, dump them on the iPad, and edit there with the Apple Pencil. Because our recording platform, which is Riverside's, added a lot of nice tools into their editing solution. I've started the last couple of episodes to edit in that. So that's freed up my iPad for some beta stuff I don't feel is it's big of a risk, so I'm going to put it on the iPad. I've got a Mac at work that I'll be putting it on because I've got to test it for work. And then Vision Pro, which I don't think gets a public beta. You got to do a developer beta. I might try that as well, because it's definitely not a mission critical thing. But we'll see. But definitely Mac and iPad for now. Maybe the phone once we get a little bit closer to release date.
All right, cool. Yeah, I usually do the phone when it gets a little closer to my Mac. I'm disinclined to fool with until it's practically release date. But
right. Yeah. And the primary reason I do that is because it's for one of the testers at work.
yes,
It's fun because if I blow that MacBook up, I can just reset it or get another one out of the closet and be like, hey, I've got plenty of Macs. So
nice to have.
It's a luxury for sure. Yes. So
nice.
If folks are considering this, so dear listener, if you're considering the public beta, which I know some of you are because you're like us, you like the new stuff. We thought we would talk for just a couple of minutes on what you should expect. So maybe you haven't ever done this before, and so this will be kind of your first step into it. Jeff mentioned battery drain for sure, especially in the developer betas. As the public betas come out, they tend to get that dialed in fairly quickly. You may have some applications that don't work too. May not be that the app just outright crashes, though that's possible. It might just be certain functions and it no longer work that they used, the way that they used to do. Random crashes. Jeff mentioned his iPad restarted one day out of the blue, but came back up. Anything else?
Yeah, I think the important thing about using a beta is there's a feedback app that comes with that beta, and while it's fun to play, it's also important if you're going to use a beta. If you run into issues, you should report them to Apple. That's part of the idea behind the public beta program is, yes, you get the opportunity to play with things, but also you have the opportunity to help refine the operating system so that when it does come out finally, some egregious error doesn't exist that shouldn't exist. So that's something to keep in mind. You should be using the feedback app.
Yes, and tell them things you do like too, by the way. It doesn't have to be things you don't like or that aren't working, but if there's something that you really, really like, be sure to pass that on. I'm sure they want to hear that too.
Yeah, absolutely true. It's important to do that. So highly recommend, if you're going to beta test to do that particular thing.
Yes. We talked about apps might not be working 100%. If that happens, let the developer know politely. Don't say to them, hey, your app's not working, and expect them to support it. But I'm sure that it would be helpful for them to know that, hey, on this particular public beta version, I'm seeing this issue with an app. Let them know. Say, I don't expect you to support it or anything. I just wanted to let you know, because that helps them out. And a lot of times, if you pay attention, the developers will be looking for testers of their versions of their applications that are being updated to support the new version of the operating system. So you might be able to get into some of their betas as well through TestFlight. And so take a look at that. That's really easy too. You don't have to be concerned that that's like a difficult thing to do. Once they have your Apple ID, they can add you to TestFlight, and then the application just shows up. And TestFlight's just an app that you download or install from the App Store. If it's an App Store application, which for iOS and iPadOS, of course it is, Mac, not necessarily. And then as they release updated versions in TestFlight, they just automatically show up, and you can set them to automatically install even, and you'll get a little pop-up when it opens of what to test. So really simple process, so don't be intimidated by that if you're thinking you might be interested in doing some beta testing for the app developers.
Very true. And I can say that that's true for me of Highland Pro. I am playing with their betas with nothing mission critical for me. And this is an important note as well. If you have real work to do on anything, you should not be using beta versions of any of the OSs or any of the applications on your mission critical work. It should be copies of that, maybe, if you're working on long form documents or doing some kind of art. And bear in mind that you're doing this for your benefit in the future when the application comes out and the benefit of anybody else that uses that application. So it's kind of software development altruism, if you will. And it's an important piece of the puzzle.
It is.
And in some cases, you might get a little discount for doing that. In other cases, you may get nothing but the pleasure of, being able to make an application that you love great. So,
yeah, and I would say especially if you're using applications from smaller indie developers, it really helps them out.
Absolutely, it does
to have more people testing the application because they're usually small shops. They don't have the resources that somebody like Adobe or Microsoft or Apple for sure, and so they are really anxious to get that help and to get the feedback.
Yep, fairly true.
And so, which you said you might do the phone once we get a little closer. What about tvOS?
Yeah, it's funny. I will
Let's
update
go deep.
that. Yeah, woo! In all likelihood, I will do that. I'm away at the moment from my house, but in all likelihood, I will do that when I get home. I usually do that because, again, I have a couple of those living around the house, and there's nothing on there that's going to kill me if I don't have it. So yes,
Did you see? By the way, do you remember when they put the slide up in the keynote? They're doing public betas for AirPods firmware.
Did not see that.
I thought, wow, they're really going deep with that.
Yeah,
interesting. So you should sign up for that.
Oh, thanks. Great. I'll do that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because I never use AirPods at all. like I'm not using them right now when I'm traveling to be able to do this.
I thought that was an interesting one because they had everything up there but Vision OS. They had like HomePod, TV OS, Watch, of course, and then right at the end, AirPods firmware. It's like, whoa, that's interesting.
Yeah, that is.
But they're making. But I guess it kind of makes sense because one of the things that they said was coming is they're going to improve the audio quality of the AirPods to be studio quality through the AirPod mics. So I guess they want to test that out. But
yeah, all right. Well, maybe next show, Tom. I'll give that a go. That is interesting. No, thank you. One of the things I am looking forward to, by the way, on the phone is CarPlay. We'll see how that goes. I haven't tried that. Haven't done that with anything, but that would be a thing that I'm really interested in seeing. The new features that are available in that. It's a pretty slick. I love CarPlay, and the new features that they're talking about adding seem really amazing.
Yeah, those look good. There's widgets, and something that you've been vocal about not liking is how weather. Not that. But, no, when the call would come in and it would take over the screen.
Yeah, that's been fixed actually in the current version. It doesn't.
Oh, is it? I thought that was a new thing they showed.
No. It's even better.
That might have. Maybe that was was that an iOS 18 dot update that did that?
I think it was.
I feel like I read about that recently, but
and they're
a funny CarPlay story for you.
Shoot.
So we went to the beach the other day. Well, about a week ago, and get in the car. And I'm getting ready to pull up the directions, and I've got my phone up, and I'm like, okay, we're going here, but it's not showing on the head unit in the car. I'm like, it's got the map up. Like CarPlay's running, it has the map up, and I'm like, of course, every time I go to leave, blah. So I start to get a little worked up. So I force quit maps. I go into Waze. It does the same thing. I'm like, why is nothing showing up on the thing? Like it shows CarPlay, but it's not responding to anything that I'm doing. So may have crashed out a little bit. And I was like, I don't understand why this thing isn't working. What the hell is going on?
Words were said.
Kids laughed.
Okay.
Then I realized the wife's phone had connected.
Oh, isn't that fun?
Yeah, I was like, because when we went down to South Carolina earlier this summer, she'd taken the car out to go do some things, and she's like, "Can I use the here?" Yes, I said, "Got it connected and everything." Well, I forgot. Well, I had started the car because it was hot, and so I started the car to start cooling it down. Where her and my son went into the car, and so because she was first in, it latched onto her phone, and so it took me 3-4 minutes to figure that out, and I felt so stupid.
Yeah, we all got to feel stupid sometime, Tom. Mostly it's me, but nice to have you along for the ride.
So it's like, I'm definitely hitting mid-50s. Good.
Good. It's great. Can't remember Jack.
Be asking the kids soon, how do I get this podcast started?
Jeez.
Yeah, so there's your CarPlay story.
All right. Very good.
All right, so hopefully this week we'll get some public betas. As we said, we've already got a show planned. Jeff and I are both going to be on the road for a while, so we're pre-recorded the next episode with Celsius 7.
Super psyched about that one, by the way.
Yeah, and we've got a couple other very interesting, very cool guests lined up for even after that. So
absolutely.
We're psyched about all that. Anything else, Jeff, or have we, as you say?
I think we've done it all, Tom.
We've done it all. Rapid fire, 35 minutes.
We went to hell and did it well. We did it our way.
That's pretty good. I like it. You took us a different direction I wasn't expecting, but
I stole that.
No.
I was gonna say. Yeah, I copped that.
All right, well, close us out, Jeff, if you would.
So, as always, feedback is basicafshow.com. You can send us emails, which we really like. You can rate us on your favorite podcast app. And obviously on the Apple Music, the iPad. Jeez.
Good Lord.
Let me try to take this again.
Take two.
On the Podcasts app, you can rate us there, and that does help us. We are seeing many, many more people listen to this show, and we're really grateful for that. So we want to say thank you. Show art, Randall Martin Design. Show music, the inimitable Celsius 7 and Psychokinetics, who you will hear from in our very next episode. And Tom, that's it. All right. Tell us where we can get to you.
You can find me on Threads at Tom Anderson. You can go to tomfanderson.com. Website there. You can sign up for the newsletter. Those are the two big things that I've got. So that is a wrap for this one. Listeners, as Jeff said, we do appreciate you being here. We know we've got, you have lots of opportunities, lots of places to go for this type of information, and we do appreciate you spending time with us.
Yes, we do.
All right, so that is it. We will talk to you again in a couple of weeks. Until then, have a great rest of your day or your night.
See ya.
Imperfections do prefer to leave you on a pedestal, so I'll